Hello and welcome to Down to Earth. Our question this week is how to tell if a plant is dead from the freeze. We had a very uncharacteristically harsh winter this year, and so many of us lost plants to the freeze. But also, you may not have lost that plant. Many of our plants and trees go dormant, and so they may look dead but not actually be dead. So there's great things to check on those to make sure before you remove the plant. On trees, if you just take a knife and scratch lightly into some of the stems, you'll notice that there's green tissue underneath where you're scratching the stem, or there's not green tissue. This would be true also for your shrubs, maybe even more so. You could do this on a young tree, but on an older tree, those branches may be further away. But your young trees would have been more susceptible than your more mature trees anyway. This would be very common for a plant that might not be native to our area. Your live oaks, your red oaks, other trees like that are not going to be susceptible. They're just going to be dormant. On annuals and perennials, of course, you would have lost your annuals because they would die in any sort of winter, but you want to see if they'll come back from seed this year, and they probably will. You may have collected the seed, and then you can put those out either this fall, if they're spring flowering wildflowers, or next spring. On your perennials, those will have died above ground, but they will definitely still be alive below ground if their roots have survived. And because our soil gets so much less cold than our air, it stays much warmer, then you will have less trouble with your perennials than you may think. So all the top growth will die back, but don't give up on those roots. Hopefully you mulched them very well and the plant stayed alive below ground. Our plant this week is Bulbine frutescens. This is a clumping succulent, and it continues with our theme of trying to promote plants that use less water but are still very beautiful in our landscape. This is a very small plant. It gets about 1.5 feet tall and it spreads to about 2 feet. Each of the plants will clump and create more plants, which makes it very easy to divide. This plant comes in both yellow flowering and orange flowering cultivars, and the flower spikes get to about 2 feet tall. 10 to 15 flowers will form per plant, and they have very pretty flowers, which is important for all of our landscapes. They flower all the way from mid-spring through the fall, and they love our heat. They're native to South Africa, which makes them very heat and drought tolerant. But they're also hardy to around 20 degrees Fahrenheit. They love the full sun, but they can also take light shade. In the light shade, they may flower a little bit less, but that's easy to give up if you have a shady spot. Very, very low water on these. If you give them too much water, though, they really won't mind too much. They may just not flower as much or may not look as healthy. So they're very adaptable to different soil types, which makes them another way to be great for our area. To do in your garden this week, start shopping for roses and prepare your beds for them. They've been available in our nurseries for a while, so you should have lots to choose from still. On bare root plants, it really is important to get them into the ground now. Container plants can wait a few more weeks or even a month until we warm up a bit. If you have a history of brown patch in your lawn, go ahead and treat it now with fungicide. If you have a history of it, it probably will repeat this year, and so you do need to go ahead and take care of that now preventatively. It's also time to plant seeds of any spring flowering annuals that you have, and also perennials, such as calendula, echinacea, gaillardia, hollyhock, and sweet peas. These are great plants for our area. We'd love to hear from you, so send us your question or plant of the week from your garden to klru.org/CTG.